Have you ever wondered why there's no full damage in Overwatch? Well, Jeff explains why. Also, let's take a look at the Paris map and try and work out if this is actually going to be, finally, a good 2CP map. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the channel. I am Stylosa. So Jeff has been active on the forums and it's been ages since I've said that. Jeff just disappears now for seemingly like weeks and months, and then he comes back with a post and he's back anyway with his 100th post on the forum, and it's about full damage. So it's a bit of a well, when we see Jeff make a post on the forums, we're like, oh my god, what's he saying? Is it going to be something awesome? Is he going to tease something? Is he going to say this or that? And it's just about full damage. And we're like, okay, well, let's take a look at it. Let's see what he says. So this is what Jeff says. I'm not going to put this on the screen because who cares? I'm just going to read it to you, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I'll read a little bit to you. So he just says, we actually tried falling damage in early development of Overwatch. We ran into problems with characters like Widowmaker, Reaper, and Pharah. With Widowmaker, it felt strange and unintuitive to be able to grapple to high places and not be able to jump down without taking damage. And that's basically the way this goes, ladies and gentlemen, for all of the heroes you could possibly think of. Think of like Hammond. How the hell would Hammond's pile driver work if Hammond took full damage when he hit the floor? And I think he'd just explode, wouldn't he, and die. What about Winston? He'd die as well. Well, Jeff does touch a little bit on that. He did say that they did look at sort of making exemptions for certain characters, but then he said pretty soon it felt arbitrary who would take full damage and who was immune, so we just removed it completely. And it makes sense, right? Because you think of Widow, I mean, if you grapple onto something and then, you know, the old Widow grapple shot that you do up into the air, imagine doing that, but you know you're going to die. You'd have to get some insane value. You'd have to kill like 3 of the enemy before you land because you're going to die. That would be stupid. So yeah, that's why there's no full damage in Overwatch. It's awesome. Personally, I'd like to see some more interesting posts on the forums from the devs. That probably would be nice. Anyway, let's take a look at the new map. Alright guys, welcome to Paris. So the question here is this actually going to be a good 2CP map? Well, based off the games we've seen played on the PTR so far, it's going to be an interesting one. The strange thing with this map is I think it actually favors tanky comps. It kind of favors goats, which is really funny when you look at the comps in the game Blizzard are trying to get rid of, i.e., well, tank-heavy comps with the recent nerfs to armor and all of that good stuff and the super buff to Reaper. So, yeah, like what I want to do is look at the map and just look at areas of this map which maybe can be abused and strategies that might work on this map, which could be really strong and all of that good stuff. So the first thing I want you guys to realize here is there is actually no high ground. There is high ground. You know, you can see balconies towards the top of the screen there. You know, I guess we can just fly over there. So you can see the balcony here, which, yeah, this is kind of high ground. You know, you could take this position here. I mean, you're quite exposed, but you could do that. That's high-ish ground. But it's not like Numbani. I know Numbani isn't a 2CP. So let's maybe not use Numbani. Let's use Horizon. It's not like Horizon, right, where it's completely different. Or even on Temple of Anubis, where you've got massive high ground at the back towards the first point. It's all very kind of on the same level. So why I think this could be quite tank heavy or favor tanks is because of this, right? Let's just simulate an attack. So you come out of the spawn. Let's just, for argument's sake, say we go this way. And as we're moving towards the choke, we get here. This is what we have to move through. Now, standard Overwatch choke design, there's always something in the choke to block incoming fire. There is a car. Think of the chokes on Temple of Anubis. There's an arch that you can walk through, yeah? Think of the choke on Hollywood. There's like stuff in the way. Is it like bales of hay, or is that when it's Halloween? Whatever, there's stuff in the way, right? That's kind of what they do, right? Anyway, so how do you get through this choke? Well, this is the only way you can go. There is no other way. There is a cheesy thing you can do right now with Mei. So you can use a Mei wall to boost your team up here, and then you can run up this and then drop down. I don't know whether that's going to be left in the game because this looks like a roof that you should not be able to run on. Because of the angle of it, I think you should slide back down. So we'll have to wait and see if they keep that in the game. If they do, then that would be a viable flank tactic. However, we're having to move through this choke. So straight away, the issue we've got is we're going to take damage. So we're probably going to look at a Reinhardt as our tank we're going to use on this map, especially on the first point attack, just because his barrier is going to beautifully block this choke. Now, we could go through here. Again, like, remember, we'll probably take damage as we go through here. We move through here, and then we're here. You know, there's some stuff blocking line of sight, but we're still going to take a lot of damage. So let's just say we walk through here, right, past the Bird Box Omnics. So we walk through here with the tanks. Now, do we either go right or do we go left? Well, let's just say we go left. So if we're rushing through to the point here, we're going past a lot of high ground. So the enemy could be here. Pretty risky setup for the enemy because that's fairly close to where you're pushing. You probably would expect them to maybe be over there towards the back on the high ground. It's a little bit safer. They can also, like, you know, duck into cover and whatnot. Or maybe they could be over there somewhere. So, or I mean, standing here again is a little bit risky as well for the defenders. So you're pushing through here as the attackers. All you actually really want to do is just run onto the point. Now, this is the thing which really gets me with this map. Look how much cover there is when you get onto the point. So if you rush through, so let's just play through this in our head, right? Because this is, I really enjoy doing this theory crafting stuff. So this window here is obviously a nice little spot for, you know, your Widow or your Ashe or whatever, or your Hanzo to fire some shots over towards the door straight in front on the other high ground, maybe get a cheeky kill on the enemy. However, let's just go through this as an attack, right? So we're rushed through here. We're going to keep moving through here. We've got Lucio, we've got a Goats comp, we've got Reinhardt in it. Maybe we've got Moira because obviously we want the healing. It might be slightly better than the Ana. Anyway, so we get here, right? Now we're on this point. The enemy are either over there, on there, or like around on the point, I guess. So once you're here, well, actually, you've got a nice bit of cover here. You've got a nice little bit of cover here. You're actually really well protected. So I think the crazy thing with this point is you just rush it with tanks. And I don't know whether that's what Overwatch 1. Because if we go and run through this again and we look at, like, and by the way, I really enjoy this kind of theory crafting. If we go to the right-hand side here and then try and push behind the point, which again could be a tactic, because as soon as you get through here, you know, your Reinhardt can just sort of stand here. He's got his shield out. Your team just rush through here. They're nice and protected. Then you move into here. You can't go that way, but you can take the high ground here. So you could, like, take this marginal high ground and sort of sit here and then fight the enemy, you know, use this as this line of sight blocker, a bit of cover, maybe fight the enemy on the high ground over there. Or you could either just rush straight through here. I wouldn't probably recommend going under there because that kind of defeats the point of the flank. What you probably would do is rush into this building here and then rush out onto the point. Again, you've got access to the point. But again, this is like, it seems to me, it favors the attackers, I think this map does, if the attackers press W and just move forward. If you are not doing that, if you are loitering about, just wasting time, if the defenders have got somebody here, if the defenders have got somebody, like, I don't know, here, if the defenders have got somebody here, whatever, they can just spray fire into you as you move in. So I think it's going to be really interesting to watch this develop. But the key thing to remember here is there isn't really much high ground. And a lot of it can be accessed by, well, the attackers and the defenders. So just one final time to run through this. Obviously, if you run through this way, you can get to the high ground there. You can also get to the high ground through there. That's behind the point. Well, I guess that takes you onto the point. Or you can rush through this door here. So if we take this path, we go through here, and then we do a left, and then we take this high ground here, which then takes us through around this side and takes us to the back of the point effectively. So it's accessible by attackers and defenders. That's what kind of makes this unique. Whereas other maps, it's not so, I think, equal in terms of being able to get to every single point of high ground. Although I use the term high ground fairly loosely because this high ground is not, well, super high ground. It's like medium high ground. Okay, so let's take a look at the final point. So after you've capped that, you come through into this area. This is the chateau. Now, the thing with the chateau is it's massive. Like, this is really massive. There are loads of different paths you can take here. So if we just look straight down the middle there is the main entrance to the chateau. We can run straight through there and go straight onto the point if we like. We've got the right-hand door, which is over there, which takes us to the right-hand side of the chateau, or we've got the left-hand side. So let's start with the left-hand side, because this is a little bit more interesting than the right-hand side, because you've got two options. You can either go through this door, or you can flank around the side here and go through this door. Notice, nice bit of cover here to protect you from fire coming in from the main atrium or courtyard in the middle of the chateau, which is obviously the capture point. This is, by the way. So you can go through that way. That's funky. You can also go through this way, which, again, is nice. Got a nice bit of protection there through some sort of covering. And you can access that point there. Or you can access this point through here. This is where it gets really complicated, because this point, I think this favors the defenders, because the defenders, it's going to be hard for them to see where you're coming from. But when they see where you're coming from, it's not really difficult to adapt their defensive position. So again, like, yeah, you could see yourself pushing through here. That's super cool. And then you go into the back. We see the spawn door there, the left-hand side. If we were the attackers, that would be our left-hand side. And this, the defenders, sorry, and this is our right-hand side spawn door. But look at the defensive positions they can take up. They can sit here. You could have somebody here. You know, could have a soldier, an Ashe, a Widow, whatever. Could be sitting here looking after this area. If the enemy push through to the left, all you need to do is shift your player focus or your team focus from wherever you are. So look at this point, right? You've got that high ground in the middle of the point, which is going to be super devastating. Like when a fight breaks out on the point, if you're Soldier, if you're any kind of hit scan, if you're Hanzo, and you're standing up there, like standing on this balcony here, you have got free reign of everything that's going on down here. You can just wreck people, right? They're going to have to come up there and contest you or hit you with a really cheeky shot. And this is where it can get quite cheeky. And this is why I think Widow might be fairly decent on this point. Because Widow here on the attack can peek here and clean out that high ground, which is really good. Like, she can put pressure on. Obviously, Hanzo could do it, Soldier, McCree, whatever. But Widow, you know, you're going to get the instant kill at that range if you land the headshot, if it's another DPS hero, almost certainly. So, yeah, if the attackers come through here, actually, a little tip here. This you can jump through. So this isn't actually a blocker. Like, I mean, I know I'm in spec mode here, so I can. There are certain things that it does let me go through. I guess that it wouldn't let you as a player go through. But this, I 100% can guarantee you can move through this, and you can fire through it. So if you're defenders here, while that's blocking line of sight, you can still fire through that and hit people as they're coming towards the point. So let's just take a look at this as an attack. So if you're attacking this, you're either going to go main, you're going to go left, or you're going to go right. So if you go main, you're going to take a lot of fire coming in. You're probably going to get your Reinhardt, your Orisa, whoever is your main tank is going to take a ton of damage before you actually get to the point. So probably isn't going to be the best idea to go straight main. The only time you probably do that is if it gets desperate, right? It's the last push. We're just going to have to run for main. You've got the right-hand side push. So if you push through here, you'll notice that, look, this is actually... There's a lot of cover here. It's going to be hard for the enemy to do damage to us. They're either going to have to flank us there or get this high ground here and fire at us as we move through. The thing with that is, though, right, if they're doing that and you just keep moving forward into them, well, I mean, if they're flanking there and they're there, they're going to be all over the place. It's going to be difficult. And the thing here for the defenders, even though I think this is defense favored, if they don't move fast enough, they're going to suffer. So just run this through, right? If we've got the defenders set up here, right? Somebody on the high ground there, then, you know, maybe we've got our support sitting here, you know, our tank in the corner or whatever. But the enemy team, the attackers, decide to attack this way. So they come rushing through. They come through here, they go through this way, and then they start moving up the stairs, and they move up to here, right? Suddenly, we're like, what do? We're split, right? We need to change our focus and attack the enemy as they move through. But look at all these line of sight issues that, well, not issues, positives they've got, right? Advantages, I guess that's the words I'm looking for. If the DPS get into a position here, look at this. This means you can contest that high ground over there. You can contest the high ground. Your tanks and whatever push through here, they can use this for cover. Then they can push onto the point. So this point, the final point of this map, I think, is going to be really fun to play, I think. Now, that could be famous last words. Remember, this is 2CP. 2CP is my least favorite game mode, and I've got to be honest, I really hate playing 2CP on ladder. It's the source of a lot of toxicity, I've got to be fair, because teams just won't play together, and this is at every rank as well. You know, if the enemy have just got a Mei, it just seems to destroy the team. And I've got to be real as well. There's nothing worse than a toxic teammate who, like, just basically rages in the chat and mutes, who is not actually... well, who is wrong? This sounds really bad for me to say. I'm trying to beat around the bush here. But basically, when people are saying completely wrong things and then they start muting and blocking people, that's not great, right? You need to, like, really play as a team to crack 2CP. That's why a lot of the times it does kind of favor defenders. But all you need to do as attackers is just push W or forward on your controller and just go in as a team. A lot of the time, that's what wins 2CP. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylosa and this is Unit Lost. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I think this has the potential to be a good 2CP. But remember, it's still 2CP and yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylosa and this is Unit Lost. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, remember you can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming. It's not actually, it's @Stylosa. That's going to die hard because I've said that for so many years. It's @Stylosa on Instagram and on Twitter. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.